Hey beautiful people, Sarah Voronov here, sharing with you my RBM Breathwork Mastery, Rebirthing Breathwork Mastery experience. I'm in practitioner training and I'm sharing with you my rebirth experience that I just had. So I have just had a whole year of my own personal breathwork sessions. So last year I did 36 personal sessions. This year I get to start doing exchanges with the peers that I have in training, and then we get to I get to do a retreat as well as part of my training. So I have been doing all of my training online, and now with the exchanges I am doing a mix of online and in person. And for those that don't know, like with RBM, breathwork, you tend to have an intention that something is really meaning for you, that you really want to make the most difference towards in life, that you want to take a step towards. And then you have a 90-minute breath cycle, and like you're consciously breathing, just slow, fuller than usual kind of breath. It's not forced, you're not straining, and you're just allowing your psyche to move through any material, what is in the way of your intention coming up. And you're always just continually staying with the body sensations and consciously breathing. And then you have your debrief, which is there for you to help to share anything that helps you kind of integrate what has happened within the session. And I did all my online breathes, and then I've started to do exchanges, and I have been feeling like I have been moving towards, in a couple of my online exchanges, getting to this point where I had felt like kind of these almost like memories from being in the birth canal of like, oh, it feels like I'm back there, and it's like kind of this deciding how I want to come out. And I had been moving through some material, some stuff around my practitioner training, because I'm in that stage 3 of feeling like I'm ahead of everybody else. Like I've booked in a lot of exchanges, feel like I'm going first, feeling like even with what I'm wanting to, thinking ahead of time, like about these retreats, how much I'm going to charge, what that's going to look like. So moving through all of that, and also having this material of feeling like I want to feel connected within that feeling of being first, like being a leader. And what else? I'm just looking at my little notebook here for some things that I had written down. It was also like becoming really apparent to me that like I wanted to have a real tactile, like felt experience where I felt like, I'm like fully welcomed, like, hey, Sarah, come here. Let me like welcome you into this world. Like absolutely everything about you. I love you. Like, let's just have more of you. And I had felt that. So there was someone that was having like Lisa Young, I think is her last name, but she was having an in-person group session, which I hadn't experienced yet. So I signed up, drove the hour and a half-ish that it took to get there, but I was so willing to do that. And I'm going to share with you my intention and kind of like what came out of it. So remember, it's all about your intention kind of drives where you're going and the material that you need to release. So my intention was, I intend to easily have a felt tactile experience of being fully welcomed, accepted exactly as I am, to know what to do with ease. That was the other thing. I was getting to this point in my breathwork sessions where I was starting to get familiar with ease. It felt like it was okay, but then I'd get into the space of like, what do I do with it? Where do I go? So I wanted to know. So I was like, to know what to do with ease and how to move forward with it. I was like, you can't just be in ease the whole time. Like, how do I move forward with it? And feeling fully connected as I move forward at a pace that feels good for me. I also intend to, that's right. I picked up a card. So in an in-person session, there's generally like a little bit of a circle, like with some cards, maybe some candles, some sprays. And there was a bunch of like affirmation cards, and I took one, and the card said, I am deserving. Like I intend to, like I receive beyond what I feel like is possible. And I thought, yes, that is what I'm going to include in my intention. So I put, I also intend to easily be open to fully receive beyond what I previously thought was possible. And then in breath work, we always ask, like, what is that going to give you? Like, if you have all of that, what's going to be changed? What's going to be different out in life? How are you going to feel? And I said for myself, it's going to give me freedom, space to be my absolute authentic self, showing up in any way, making moves, taking action, being, what did I said? Take action, being able to complete tasks in my own time, being at peace with whatever stage of completion, because that was also the thing. Get my work, like the work that I do, putting that out there, sharing my insights, my wisdoms, my learnings more easily, being a shiny, amazing me, anything possible, fully believe in myself, and that, yeah, my dreams are possible. And then, so whenever you have your intention, the thing that you're wanting, and then you kind of talk with the facilitator, you dialogue a little bit to kind of refine what is happening. And then as like we talked, it was like, yeah, as I was explaining that moving forward, going first, it was because I had this sense of like, we're all, let's say, not like life's a race, but I felt like we're all here and I'm like moving forward and moving away from that pack. And so she's like, oh, you really want to be a leader. You want to be like I forget what the term she used, but yeah, being that leader. And I was like, yes, that's what I want. And I want in that being that leader, being at the front, I want to feel fully supported, fully celebrated for going first, for moving forward. And so that was my intention. And then as always with breath work, after you share your intention, you notice what is happening in your body. How does that feel? What's moving? Always bringing it back to that body sensations. So I had some like tension in my parts of my body. I was feeling expanded. I cried a lot. I'm a big emotional person, so I was crying as I was sharing. The facilitator was so kind, and she was just kind of just holding me as I was allowing myself to feel. And yeah, being in that group, you all lay down, you get really comfortable, all these beautiful blankets. There is instruction on, laying down, bringing your intention to mind, noticing what's happening into your body, releasing the intention. Like there's this whole process that you get spoken into, and then you're just consciously breathing. So there's music playing. And I was doing that, and like I had noticed, like someone else beside me started feeling some things and what was moving. And so the facilitator went to them, and then they were talking. And I just got this sense as if I was in the womb, and this is my mum's feelings. This is all her stuff. And I was starting to feel a bit emotional towards the stuff that this other person was feeling. And I also didn't quite understand actually what was happening. I just knew that I was feeling. So I was just going into the emotions, and I felt like this other person was like moving, and I could feel them kind of coming into my space. Again, I was just feeling some waves of like tears, and I wasn't even consciously aware, like, what is this? What's going on? And that's the thing in breathwork. You don't need to have that cognitive mind figuring out and trying to piece things together. You're just completely with your breath, with your body, trusting that process. And yeah, I had the facilitator was like giving me some tactile kind of like pressure, knowing that she was there, even though she was with somebody else. And I don't know how I even got to it, but I was just fully in my body feeling all the tears and things that were moving. And whatever is shared by the facilitator, like whether she's dialoguing or talking with you, it's all to kind of unsuppress the space for you, for your experience. It's all self-generated where you go from your psyche. But I think I was crying, and I was moving to the side, and then she was encouraging me. I think she was asking what was happening in my body, and I had some feeling in my chest or somewhere else. And it was through the encouragement of telling me that feelings have sounds, and to make the sound of the feeling, And I could also feel in my tears with what was happening. My pattern has also been to like feel a feeling and then like kind of calm myself down, and like having that encouragement to be saying like, we can feel all feelings here. It's safe to feel all feelings here, fully expressing, going into it, making it bigger, more. I was like fully leaning into these feelings in my body, like what was happening. And like, there was a lot of tears. And through that guidance, like I also felt like this, it was like me feeling like my hand was in a fist going on the side, moving into that pressure. And then like my body just naturally, I wanted to go on like all fours and kind of like in a fetal kind of position. And then there was also there was a little bit of breathing, feeling, expressing again. But I had a little bit of this like, oh, you're still here. You're not going anywhere with a facilitator. And it was this feeling of like, oh, like it. And she asked me what was happening, but I didn't know. All I know that it felt really nice. It felt really nice to have someone there to stay with me and not leave me. And I stayed like that for a little bit, and I really breathed into what that feeling was like to have someone fully there, feeling connected. And it's like, because you're consciously there, but you're also not. It's a slightly altered state. And as I was breathing, and then there was like encouraging me more to make sounds for the feelings that I was feeling, and going into it, I was like, ugh, like I was making the sounds of birth, like, and I could feel myself as if I was moving in, like down into the birth canal, and it was like this, my face was squished, my arms, and it was like really emoting, really expressing all those sounds of that, like, okay, I've gotten out. And then like feeling the feeling of that, like my feet were moving as I was like moving through, and then I kind of naturally sort of flipped. Like all of this again, it wasn't a thought, it wasn't a conscious thought. I'm just fully in my body, fully feeling. And I turned around and I felt a bit spent, like, oh, I did it. And I was breathing. And then I had like this sensation like, oh, I've got like something on my neck and it's itchy and I'm trying to pull, and what it felt like was like maybe like an umbilical cord that was around me. And then I was like, actually I shut up, right? And I started coughing, like so much coughing, fully expressing that. And it felt like there was all the mucus that was actually coming out. And then like I laid back down after all of that. And then I had, again, like this little bit of a dialogue with the facilitator, feeling like maybe she needed to go somewhere else, but she was staying with me. And this feeling like she's obligated to stay with me, and feeling like, okay, you can go if you want. And it was all around this body memory of feeling like people needed to stay with me. And like if they are, and that's right, I made a decision, around that time where it felt like if someone is staying with me, then other people miss out. Like other people are missing out if I'm like being looked after. And so through the dialoguing, realizing like that was a body memory, a decision that was made. Does that still have to be true? And it still felt very true, but I can't remember what it was, but I reached this point of like, oh, so I was still breathing into the feelings and what that felt like in my body. And I came to the decision that, okay, if you, like, actually you can, like, this is the person, the facilitator staying with me, like, you can actually go. You can really go if you really needed to. And if you are completely free to move, then actually I am completely free to move. And then I just shifted everything. I was like, oh, I am free and it is all okay. And then she actually ended up going to check on someone else. And by that point, I actually felt completely fine about it. I wasn't making it mean anything about me. It was just all the body memory of how it was for me back then. Like when we go into any of these body memories, these sensations, it's like taking you back to a time where it felt really true at that time. Except it doesn't have to be true now. Like when you're anchored into your full adult self, it's like, is that still true? And it's only like that belief change only happens if it feels like a natural yes. Like when it didn't, I didn't get forced into it. It was just like, no, so stay with the feeling then. And then I moved into the cosmic joke of feeling like, the cosmic joke is that you feel like there's actually a problem at all, but then there's not a problem. And I was in the feeling of like, of course, I'm free to move wherever I want, and I can create whatever I want. I can, of course, I can be whoever I am, because there's also like this feeling of like, I'm not just this one person, this one moment. Like I'm not just you talking right now. Like I'm so many different versions, but whoever I am in any single moment, of course I can be that person. And so, being like fully encouraged to fully breathe in that feeling, anchoring in that feeling. And yeah, that was my rebirth experience. It wasn't something that I had like, definitely knew it was going to happen. This was my actually 41st supported breathwork session. So, in breathwork, we only move where, we only move at the level of our psyche when it's ready. And so, when we're safe enough, when we're in pain enough, when we are like supported and ready enough, like things will shift. And so, I was ready, and I created the circumstance in which I wanted to be received. I was amongst these beautiful people in a group session where I got to fully feel welcome to be how I am. And even as I was expressing myself, there was like a slightest thought in the back of my head of like, oh, I'm being loud. I could feel my expression of my sound like crackling in the room, but it was also like, I'm fully in it, I'm fully expressing. Of course I can express myself. And that only happened yesterday. So I'm still seeing how things are landing, how things are feeling, because you go out in life and you notice what is different. And so one thing that I noticed pretty much straight away is, first I was like ravenous for some food after the breathwork session had finished. And I've said goodbye to other people. So I went to get some food local to where I did it. And I think I got this roll, and I saw the lady making it, and it wasn't really, as I was looking, I was like, oh, this doesn't even look that great now. Kind of regretting that decision. But I started to eat it. And then I stopped, and I was like, I'm not going to finish this whole roll. Like I started to just eat the inside of it. Because the thought occurred to me, I only eat things that are nourishing for me. And that is a completely different thing for me. So with an Asian background like mine, I was often grew up feeling like you have to finish all the food that you're eating. If you're not, you're wasting food, you're wasting money. And so my thoughts around eating would be, I have to finish, like I've paid for this, I have to eat it. And whenever you feel like it's a have to, you're childlike relating versus adult relating. So that very much felt true. And even though I didn't breathe on like having the freedom of choice with my food or anything, that just was something that completely changed for me. That wouldn't have happened before. I wouldn't have gone, oh, I can just throw this roll out and only eat the middle. And it seems like a small thing on the surface, but it's actually a really big thing for me, because I would be constantly eating my kids' leftover food and stuff, even if I'm already full, like eating it because I feel like I don't want to waste it. This costs money, and money didn't even cross my mind. It was like, I only eat things that are nourishing to me. That is the truth now for me. And so I'm really excited for myself to kind of see what else changes out in life from this. And at the same time, like a rebirth is great. It seemed like, oh, it's this big fancy thing. And now afterwards it's like, oh, that just happened, but life is still moving, life is still going. And we're an ever evolving human, and there's like layers. And so, I'm sure there'll be like nuances, that these sort of things to still move through, but I feel like a brand new person. It was an amazing experience. I'm really interested and curious to see how I relate to the world differently. I do feel, it still feels like such a truth. Like, of course I can be exactly who I am, create how I want. And we'll see from here. So, if you have any questions on rebirthing, my experience, questioning on how it works in a session, like, also, like, you don't know when you're going into a session what that's going to be like, what that's going to be like as a facilitator. But there's like, I was supported enough. I felt ready enough. And I went there when my psyche was there, ready to. So, yes, anyway, if you have questions about rebirthing breathwork mastery, my experience, the training, coming to a session, whatever that is, reach out. I would love to answer them. Okay, bye for now.